A young woman descends a flight of stairs. Her shoulders are tense. Her eyes flick towards someone just out of frame. She clutches her phone tightly. She doesn't know it yet, but this will be the last time anyone sees her alive. What happened after that moment would leave an entire community shattered, a family grieving, and investigators racing against time. She said she was staying with a friend. She never showed up to work, and 4 days later, her body was discovered beneath a bridge. This isn't just a story of violence, it's a story of obsession, of a system too slow, and of the quiet, final moments that played out on a surveillance camera. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Friday Night Campfire Stories. This is another episode of Far From Fiction, where we dive into the darkest corners of true crime with the same cinematic storytelling you come to expect. I'm Rob, and in today's case is one of the most heartbreaking I've come across. It's a recent story, one that's still unfolding, and one that demands our attention. Before we dive in, I want to thank you for everyone who's been tuning in, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers I'm trying to get to by the end of August, and your support makes all the difference. So if you enjoy this video or any of the work that I've done, go ahead and click that subscribe button. It's free and it definitely helps the channel grow. Also, my newest horror anthology, The Hollow Season, is coming out on August 1st. It's packed with original terrifying stories, and to celebrate, I'm doing a free giveaway for a signed copy. Stick around to the end of the video to find out exactly how to enter. Now, let's return to the staircase and the girl who never walked back up it. This is my series, Far From Fiction. Before the headlines, before the visuals, before the courtroom, there was just Marissa. She was just 18, a daughter, a sister, a friend. Bright, funny, and loyal to a fault. She was the kind of person who left notes of encouragement for others, even when she was going through her own pains. Marissa had faced more than her share of hardships. She and her sister, Moniz, were placed into the foster care after losing both of their biological parents. But she didn't let her past define her. She chose joy, she chose compassion, and she chose to keep moving forward. She was eventually adopted into the DiNapoli family in Morgan Hill, California, a tight-knit community just south of San Jose, California. In there, she began to flourish. She worked at a local Starbucks and enrolled in Galveston College. She dreamed of building a better life. Her coworkers said that she never missed a shift. Her family says that she lit up every room that she walked into. And her sister, Moniz, always stated that Marissa was her soulmate in sister form. She loved music. She loved taking photos. She loved fiercely. And unfortunately, that last part may have cost her everything. In 2024, Marissa began dating Martin Mendoza Jr., a local man who was just a few years older than she was. At first, it seemed like the typical teenage relationship. Social media posts, weekend hangouts, smiles, and playlists, and share drinks from the same cup. But behind closed doors, things were more complicated. Family and friends would later state that Marissa seemed nervous. Not at first, but as the months went on, she grew quieter, more withdrawn. Her sister would say that she feared Martin had become controlling and possessive. One friend claimed that he didn't like her texting anyone he didn't approve of first. Another recalled of how he once showed up unexpectedly while she was out with friends, and yet Marissa stayed with him. Because that's what people do. People who love hard, people who forgive, people who hope if they're just a little more patient, things will get better. By the summer of 2025, things had reached a breaking point though. Marissa broke up with Martin. She wanted to move on. She wanted to reclaim peace. She wanted a clean start. But Martin wasn't ready to let go. And what he did next would turn that hope into heartbreak. June 28th, 2025. It was a Friday. Marissa sent her adopted family a text message that night. letting them know she was staying over at a friend's house. No one questioned it. She was 18, responsible, and she always checked in. But by the next morning, something felt off. She wasn't responding to texts, she wasn't answering calls, and then she missed her shift at Starbucks that Saturday morning. That had never happened before. Her family's concern grew by the hour. At first, they hoped that she just overslept and then lost her phone. But as the hours stretched into the next day, the quiet fear in the back of their mind started to take shape. Marissa was missing. Investigators would later piece together her final known movements through cell phone pings, witness accounts, and a single chilling video. At 9:44 on June 29th, Marissa was captured on the Ring camera leaving the home of Martin Mendoza. She walked slowly down the stairs. Behind her, Martin is seen, following. He stops on the landing, watching her closely. There is no hug, there is no goodbye. Just a quiet tension that you could feel through the screen. According to court documents, they had been arguing that morning. Martin was reportedly upset that Marissa had been texting another ex. He allegedly confronted her inside the house, and by the time that she stepped outside, things had clearly shifted. At 9:45 a.m., just 1 minute after the video ends, Marissa and Martin's cell phones both pinged along the road towards Anderson Lake, a remote, rural area just east of Morgan Hill. By 10:18 a.m., both their phones would go dark, and that was it. No more pings, no more footage, and sadly, no more Marissa. The next day, June 30th, her family filed an official missing persons report, but time was already working against them. Investigators initially questioned Martin Mendoza. At that point, he had been named a suspect. He admitted to seeing Marissa, claimed that she left his home, said goodbye, and that was the last that he saw of her. Then he walked away. And just days after this, Martin disappeared. Unbeknownst to police at the time, he had already fled, heading south towards Mexico. And Marissa, she was still out there, somewhere. As July began, the Morgan Hill Police Department, along with the state and federal partners, launched a massive search effort for Marissa DiNapoli. Her family was relentless. They posted flyers, they begged for help online, they organized their own search. They knew something was wrong. Because Marissa wouldn't just run away, she wouldn't ghost her job, and she wouldn't leave her sister. By July 1st, investigators had reviewed the Ring footage, traced her phone, and identified her last known location as Anderson Lake. But they were still one step behind. Because while they searched, Martin slipped away. On July 2nd, just after noon, everything changed. It wasn't the police who found her, it was Marissa's own family, her sister, Moniz, her adoptive father, and a few volunteers who hiked the rugged terrain beneath the Anderson Lake Bridge. There, in a shallow area surrounded by brush and rocks, they found her, Marissa's body. She had been stabbed multiple times, 5 wounds to her back according to the coroner's early report. She was left alone, hidden, and discarded like she didn't matter. But she did matter. To her family, to her friends, to every person who had to live in a world without her light. The grief hit like a tidal wave, and it came with a new urgency, because there's one person who knew what happened, Martin Mendoza. But he was gone. Just one day after being questioned by police, he packed up and fled south. He crossed the U.S Mexico border and disappearing into Baja California. The U.S Marshal Fugitive Task Force got involved immediately. They tracked his movements using license plate readers, border surveillance, and digital footprints. The multi-agency manhunt kicked into overdrive. And finally, on July 6th, less than a week after Marissa was reportedly missing, Martin Mendoza Jr. was arrested trying to re-enter the United States. He was taken into custody without incident and transported back to Santa Clara County, where he was formally charged with first-degree murder, use of a deadly weapon, and an enhancement for targeting a particular vulnerable victim. He is currently being held in jail without bail. His next court appearance is set for September. Marissa's death sent shockwaves through the Morgan Hill community and beyond. In the days after her body was found, hundreds gathered at the Cultural Center for a candlelight vigil. People wept, prayed, shared memories. They brought signs that read "Justice for Marissa" and "Enough is enough." Her sister Monique stood in front of a crowd and spoke with strength that most of us can only imagine. She talked about Marissa's heart, her laughter, the years they survived together in the foster system, and how no one should ever have to bury their best friend. But not everyone was focused on the grief. Many began to ask why. Why was Martin Mendoza allowed to walk free on the day that Marissa was reported missing? Why weren't red flags taken more seriously? And why wasn't more done sooner? A petition was launched demanding an independent investigation into the Morgan Hill Police Department early handling of this case. Thousands signed it within days. Because this wasn't about what just had happened, it's about what didn't happen. Since that terrible day, Marissa's family has turned their pain into purpose. They partner with a domestic violence awareness group. They've spoken out about toxic relationships, emotional control, and the silent signs that often go unnoticed. They've urged other young women and men to listen to their gut, ask for help, and understand that love should never feel like fear. Marissa's story had become a rallying cry, not just for justice, but for change. Marissa DiNapoli was more than headlines. She was more than a case number. She was a sister, a daughter, a friend. She was joy. She was light. And she deserved so much more than what the world gave her. May her story serve as a warning. May her memory inspire strength. And above all, may she rest in peace. Thank you for watching this episode of Far From Fiction. If you found this story powerful, disturbing, or important, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We're pushing to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of August, and I need your help. We're getting closer every single day. I release 3 full-length videos every single week right here on the Friday Night Campfire Stories, Echoes of the Past, where we dive into haunted histories and dark locations. Far From Fiction, which you're watching now, exploring the chilling true crime stories that happen, and Friday Night Campfire Stories, where I share a chapter from one of my own original stories with you guys. Speaking of stories, my latest book, The Hollow Season, drops on August 1st and will be available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. The pre-order is actually open now, and the link is in the description. The Hollow Season is a chilling collection. It has atmospheric stories, each darker and more twisted than the last. And to celebrate its launch, I'm giving away 3 signed copies. Here's how you enter. You subscribe to the channel, you like the video, and leave a comment on this video or any of my videos between June 30th and July 25th. Every video that you interact with is another entry to win a free signed copy. The winners will be announced on July 26th, so don't miss your chance to grab a signed copy today. I want to thank you again for being here and for supporting independent creators for keeping these stories alive. But that is going to do it for today. And remember, sometimes evil doesn't come from the shadows. Sometimes it walks with you to the car, smiles, and says goodbye right before it makes you disappear. As always, thank you for spending a little bit of your evening here with me.